This is like, it's a really small task, and the code is fucked up, and we're wasting our time on it now. We've got to focus on Moment.
You know what we should do? The money right now means absolutely nothing. Here's back your money, and we're giving you all the code we've done.
Yeah.
We'll give you all our code.
We've still done 90%.
We've done 90% of the work. We're going to give you the code as a good faith, and we messed up. We don't have time for this right now. Yeah. Sold, dude.
The situation is, we took on this project for the building that we're in to reskin their app. The problem is, we scoped the task out to be like a reskin. We added on a few screens in the beginning, and we wanted to reuse their existing code. Their existing code is disgusting. It's horrible to work with. It's impossible to understand. And now this project has gone way over timeline, and now we've got to focus on Moment. Moment is a much bigger, that's our startup. We've got funding behind us. So now we're just trying to toss up, how do we get rid of this project off of our plate, but try and maintain some reputation. The guy who runs this thing also knows the lead investor in Moment, so that's potentially a concern. It's just it's kind of stressful. We don't have time right now to focus on this. We really need to get to just coding on Moment 24/7.
All in all, I think we messed up. We apologized for it. We did the best we could do. They're pissed off at us. Subsequently, I think because they weren't leasing the space and been, hemorrhaging a lot of money here, also caused towards them disliking us even more. But so much miscommunication, I think that's what led to the pain. I actually think they've been fantastic to us up until now.
We were kind of told that people would be occupying the left-hand side of the office, and that would be taken up. So our voices were not being heard at all. When we had issues, when we said we want to scale and we want more seats, we were just ignored. So immediately we could tell there was a definite negative vibe, and there's an overarching feeling of us not being welcome here anymore. We don't want to sit in an environment where we feel like we're not welcome, or where we have tumultuous relationships with our landlord. So that's kind of where the conversation started.
So it's quite funny, we've been looking at different places and we've found some cool spots, and it's quite hard to balance between the team. Some people want, this kind of office, some people want this kind of office.
I think it comes down to the business you're running, how your office should be. And I think if you're investor facing and you're facing overseas investors, they don't so much want you to have a fancy office because they perceive it as, oh, this is the office I'm paying for. It looks like a very expensive office. But you need to be centrally located. You need to be in a place where you're sort of on the map. I do 20 plus calls a day with people, and consistently the sort of view that we have behind us here has blown people away. And I think it legitimizes what you're doing. We come across the call as young guys sometimes, and I think having, a kind of made it backdrop makes a weird difference. I never thought it would, but it has.
We looked at a couple of awesome spaces, but they just weren't ready for us. We have a decent amount of money, but we don't want to piss the money away, right? So I think now, when I've been reaching out personally and just telling them we're a local startup, everyone's like, oh, we'll give you a great deal, So we found a couple of places. The one that we're looking at now used to be a Norwegian embassy.
But it's also just not one of those obnoxious funded startups kind of spaces. It's a perfect middle ground for us.
What's so cool about it is when you walked into the space, you get this feeling of we can be there. This is the place to be. It's so close to where we are. They're giving us an amazing deal.
It is the same cost as that little block that we've got over there. It's 20 square meters. For the same price, we're going to get 300 square meters. And even better, it's literally across the way. You can stand on the balcony there on the left-hand side of the office, point, and that's the office.
So I think we'll be staying there for a decent period of time. The company that we're going to be dealing with probably they have a whole bunch of buildings in town. So I think they're more than happy to move us to other spaces if we outgrow it or we're looking for something different. So I think for 2 years is probably where I think we'll be. I'm hoping actually 1, because that means we're growing like crazy and we're doing really, really well. And that could well be the case. If we're really, really doing well and raise a good amount of capital, we could easily go to about 40 employees very quickly. So yeah, it depends on what we do, is how long we stay.
Well, that's nice and all, Adam, but the story doesn't end there. We were all set to move in. We had spoken to our new landlord about all the changes we wanted to make to the building. We even one day carried our table tennis table from our old office to the new office just so we could put together the new table tennis table and play in our new space. But that's all we've been able to do in the new space so far. I'd love to show you more footage of us moving into the office here, but I can't because we haven't. Before we could move in, the third wave of COVID-19 hit South Africa and the company decided to work from home. So I guess now you'll get to see what that looks like.